There's a very strange interlude towards the beginning of this week's Torah portion. The story of the Exodus is put on hold. Instead, we're treated to a family tree. We're reminded the names of the sons of Reuven, the firstborn son of Jacob, Yaakov. Then we're told the names of the sons of Shimon, Yaakov's second-born son. And then we're told the names of the sons of Levi, and we get an extended family tree there. We're told the names of his grandsons and great-grandsons. And among his descendants, we meet and we're told about Moses and Aaron, Moshe and Aaron. When the description of this family tree finishes, God tells us in the Torah that that's the Moshe and Aaron to whom God spoke when he told them to take the Jews out of Egypt. And they're the ones that spoke to Pharaoh. They're Moshe and Aaron. Why all the repetition? And why the need for this family tree in the middle of the story of the Exodus? One commentator explains that the Torah is trying to drive home a crucial point. Even after he spoke to God, even after he brought Aaron along as his spokesperson, they, Moshe and Aaron, that same Moshe and Aaron, remained human. They didn't rise up to some different plane of existence. They didn't become half man and half God. They weren't sons of God. That's a different religion. They were still human beings. And that tells us that we can aspire to unbelievable heights of spirituality if we work on it. But we have to work on it. God doesn't just choose the first rando or knucklehead who shows up. He looked at the tribe of Reuven. No, not there. Looked at the tribe of Shimon. Not there. Let's check the tribe of Levi. No, not that generation. Not that one. Yes, them. Those are the ones that I'm going to choose. Moshe and Aaron. Because they worked so hard on themselves, on their spirituality, and on coming closer to me. They're the ones that deserve to lead my flock. Interestingly, though, after Moshe spoke to God at the burning bush, and then many times after that, he became, if anything, more human, not less human. I can pretty much guarantee that had Moshe ever sat down for an interview, not that he would have, you wouldn't have heard him say anything like what LeBron James recently said when he was describing just when it was that he realized that he was the greatest player of all time.
And then after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
Really? What about this guy? Oh, and what about that guy before him?
100 points by one man. No one has even come close.
Moshe never would have called himself the greatest of all time. We know that because the Torah later openly tells us that he was the most humble man who ever lived. But how could he be the most humble man who ever lived? We know he actually was the greatest of all time. And the answer is that he came closer to God. He saw more of God than anyone else before or since, which means he knew better than anyone just how gigantic the gulf is between humankind and God. It's an unbridgeable chasm. And that was humbling to him. He understood that God is the master of the universe and the master of our individual lives. And we have to realize that everything comes from him. Our successes from him, our talents from him, our resources from him, our failures and our setbacks also from him. He loves us. Sometimes he's trying to send us a message or redirect our path. And when we realize that he's in charge of everything in the entire world, the entire universe, and in our own individual lives, that's incredibly humbling. When we realize that he is the greatest of all time.
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.